Alrighty, fellas. Good morning. Morning. How are we doing today? Welcome back to day 6 of the Lunar New Year event within PokeMMO. Making some more progress towards the event today. I am currently at, let's do a little progress check, 5 Zodiac tablets out of 12. Now, for those who are not in the, constantly playing the game 24 hours a day, you cannot do anything with Zodiac tablets yet, which is kind of weird. So you can't do anything with them yet. There are some people who have all 12 of them already, which is really, really impressive. I believe it's around a 10 to 12 hour grind on average to get all 12, something like that. And then I think it's around 288 total Pokemon to get all of them, which is quite a bit, honestly, in my opinion. So we know that there are going to be 12 of them. We don't know for sure what the reward is. We are assuming it is a Vanity. Very similar to last year, you got the Zodiac Dragon outfit from doing a very similar grind. So people are guesstimating some sort of Zodiac Snake outfit or something along those lines. And then we also have 5 out of 12 raids done. So it's day 6. We have 5 Zodiac tablets out of 12. We have 5 out of 12 raids. Hoping to make most of these things 6 out of 12 today. We might do raids, we might not. I kind of enjoy letting raids like fall behind a little bit and then doing like 3 raids at once. I think doing 1 raid a day is just, it's too compartmentalized for me personally. I don't know if that's the right word there, but we'll take it. We're going to start today with an Alpha Parasect Swarm, but an Alpha Parasect over at Island 5. But just that's quick progress recap. 5 out of 12 tablets, 5 out of 12 raids, and then 20 million out of 32 million, I think, Pokeyen. There is at least one more. There's a third one. Yo, I haven't seen this yet. That literally listed a minute ago. 1 minute ago. That's big news, dude. This is the ultra rare Vanity in this event. It's been so rare that there's been one on the GTL at times. It's been ridiculous. It's a really, really interesting Vanity. I am at 20 mil. It's hard to see for a sec, out of 30 mil towards this. I really, really do want one. I don't know if I'll be buying one during the event itself or maybe later on. I could always invest into Lucky Reds. Really? It already... Are you kidding me? It already sold? It was up for 1 minute! It is not hard for me to say that I think that this is the rarest ultra rare Vanity I've ever seen in any PokeMMO event ever. It's actually... Oh! Yo, wait, huh? He counter flipped himself? Wait, what happened? Wait, he listed it for... Wait a minute. He listed it for 30 mil, took it down, listed it for 28.5? Wait, why did he underflip? Why did he actually bought high, sold low? Wait a minute. Wait, what's happening? What am I witnessing in live time, bro? Is it the seller himself taking it down? What? Bro, he just lost like 50k. Bro's learning. He just lost 50k on listing fees. I mean, 50k is nothing compared to what he'll sell it for. But that's really funny. Okay, anyways, I'm getting distracted. We'll check on that market later on. We'll check on other markets. The Mankey market is a good one that's cooled down. It has cooled down, and I always tell people, when something, markets change in PokeMMO dramatically, you have to be moving around. You cannot be doing one money-making method in PokeMMO and expect to do well. You have to swap around. Mankeys have cooled down, bro. People caught on. People wisened up, smartened up. Mankeys are now only 11k a piece for a 31 attack, which makes sense. That's a reasonable price. They should not have been the 30k that they were. I mean, they should have been due to the high demand, but it was never going to last long term. We all understood that. So that makes sense. That market is stabilized with, I'm assuming, from like less normal type raids coming out. Like finally a raid that doesn't need fighting type Pokemon. It's been really interesting. I didn't realize how many normal type raids were in this, 3 of them, right, in this event. So yeah, Patch Up Mysterious Ultra Balls 2024. I would love to go browse the, also, wait, before I do that, people are kind of under talking about the Ponytail. Because the ultra rare is so rare and so expensive, people, I'm people, by the way, I'm guilty of this. People are forgetting that there's also a 7 mil Vanity. That's like this event is insane, honestly, for the market and for the economy. The fact that there is a 7 mil hair Vanity as well as an ultra rare that's 30 mil, like that's not normal, dude. That's really, 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 really insane. That's so crazy. But anyways, I'm gonna get started on this Parasect encounter. Hopefully catch myself a nice Alpha Parasect. Maybe sell it off, make some Pokeyen, something of the sort. Then I'll keep an eye on Swarms calls over in my Discord. And we'll just take it step by step, fellas. Take it step by step. Take it day by day. Make as much progress as you can every day. It's a marathon, not a sprint, okay? You don't have to stay logged in permanently, but just a few hours every day. If you make progress, you'll do good in PokeMMO. That's the main thing to keep in mind. Wow, great question from chat. Someone said, how did that ghost gem not get consumed? So for reference, I was doing the Parasect Alpha, and I was using my Chandelure, and I clicked Shadow Ball to chip it down with ghost gem on my Chandelure. And what happened was when I in the battle I used the boosted damage or whatever. It's a consumable item. After the battle was over, I clicked on my Chandelure and it's still a ghost gem. The reason why it does that is because the PokeMMO will actually auto refill consumable items like that. So you can see in the bottom chat down here, it says gave Eboja another ghost gem, 8 remaining. So if I go to my bag, there's 8 ghost gems left. So it will actually auto refill on consumables. This is a really important thing to understand during like certain storyline runs or things like that. If you were like, imagine like if you were doing the storyline and you accidentally left a ghost gem on your whatever ghost Pokemon and you were like blasting everybody down and you had like 40 ghost gems, and then by the time you beat the storyline, you're like, oh, now I have 0 ghost gems. Oh fuck, I didn't mean to use all those ghost gems in the storyline. That's a waste of Pokeyen. Like, these are, they're a little pricey, right? Like they're not nothing. 40 ghost gems would be like 50k or something like that, maybe more. So keep that in mind. If you're using consumables, be aware of that. Now, there's a similar mechanic. I almost got this confused. There's a similar mechanic with PvP, but in PvP, it doesn't auto refill. In PvP, certain consumable items, I don't know the exact math or numbers on this, so I apologize in advance. Certain items have multiple uses. I don't know the numbers or what items or etc., but I think like Focus Sash is a good example. I think Focus Sash, if you use it in PvP, you don't just consume one Focus Sash per usage in PvP, because that would kind of suck. It used to work like that. I played like that for a long time. It actually drove up, demand for like lumberries and stuff was a big one back in 2013 to 2015. But Focus Sash, it'll give you like 10 uses of that one consumable until it finally wears off, which is kind of interesting. So it does help PvP players not run through so many consumables like that. All right, while we're waiting for more swarms to spawn, I do have a next docket on the agenda. I want to go through and relist some of my Pokemon. I saw some things earlier that these Ammonites and Shieldons, they just sit here because I don't want to deal with them. They're like laziness. But like, these are all worth a little bit. I could relist these, but these Cloisters, these are trainer rerun Cloisters that didn't sell. This Dratini, things worth like 200k plus Pokeyen. Those I'll go ahead and relist. Marowak. Now, you see a lot of unsold stuff here, but what I also want people to know is like I'm pretty sure these Ammonites have been here for over a year. Like there's unsold stuff here that has been here for like a year and a half. So when you see they're like, oh my god, none of Patrouski stuff actually sells. What the heck? I always kind of say I think 90% of stuff that I list sells within 2 weeks or so. 90% sells within the first listing cycle. And then I would say the other 10%, there is a really important breakdown of like, I would say 5% of the other 10% of Pokemon. There's three things. 5% is stuff I mispriced and made errors on, which sounds crazy, but there's just so much complications to Pokemon shiny hunting. There's so many things to check. It's easy to miss stuff. So I think 5% is due to human error and personal mistakes. I think the other 4%, there's another percent. 4% is from market changes. A good example is I think some of my Mankeys. Some of my Mankeys are now kind of left over, and like a lot of them sold. I made some really good money on Mankeys, but some of them, the prices have stabilized today. They may not sell, right? So stuff like that, market changes, fast market changes. You want to try to hopefully price around that. And then the final 1% is stuff that is really niche and needs a secondary listing. That can be things like Tyrogue sometimes because it's a baby Pokemon. So if people are looking for a breeder, they're not going to find, it's not going to pop up. It cannot be bred. So they'd have to specifically be looking for a Tyrogue. And that includes not looking for like a Hitmonchan and stuff like that. So like Tyrogue or certain certain Jinxes, certain Smoochums, things like that. There are certain Pokemon that are good, but so niche that they don't sell that fast. So that's kind of my breakdown of selling stuff in PokeMMO. I would say, once again, that like 90% of stuff sells in the first listing, but I also want to be honest with you guys, not everything does. You have to kind of relist things. We're going to claim these like Flame Orbs, for example, like certain items. Market changes do happen. Something really important to keep an eye out for. So we're going to relist a bunch of this stuff. This Shiny Flip is still selling. going to put all this over in my PC for a quick sec, but we're going to relist as much of this as we can, and hopefully, I wouldn't even mind selling a lot of this quickly, like just quick selling under listing. We'll see though. I didn't mean to claim that. We'll claim it to our party. My bad. So we'll go through a bunch of mons and relist stuff and hopefully make some extra Pokeyen. It's definitely good to do this every so often. I'm too lazy on this. Wait, dude, this is insane. There's 363 2012s listed on the GTL right now. That's like, not only is it the most we've ever seen, that's insane. Not only is that the most we've ever seen, I think that is like double the most we've ever seen. That's really, really, really wild. I wonder how many new players came back and like listed a let's do like recently listed. Let's see. Victor, you'll often find like if someone came back and found out they have a bunch of mons, they come back and they like spam list a bunch of stuff. But we're not even really seeing that. I wonder if it's all flips or collections. Well, here we see 2 from Monraz. This is really crazy. Monraz. Okay, we see a few from the same person. That might be someone who... This is an old name that I remember. That's really, really, really crazy. Monraz again. Chew twice or so. You'll sometimes notice, like, Monraz again. That's probably someone who came back. We saw them as well. Straw Hat King earlier. When someone comes back to the game, they find out they have a bunch of 2012s that are worth Pokeyen and they sell them off more. A lot of Straw Hat King as well. That's crazy. The most 2012s we've ever seen on the market at once during... Or at times, it's like 150 to 180. 150 to 180 is the highest I've ever seen. I've never seen 360. That's insane. That's really, really interesting. I mean, hopefully that just shows a deeper interest in the markets in general. 471 2013s are listed. And then probably a lot more. 2014s are much less. There's 98, but I think they're just less collected, less bought and sold. 2012s and 2013s are the main ones. 2012 specifically. That's so crazy. People ask me all the time, like, you know, how do 2012s have value? Why do they have value, et cetera, et cetera? I would ask you the same thing. Why do base set Pokemon cards have value, right? They're old, they're rare, they're collectible, they're nostalgic. Not many people kept them in good condition. There's a big reason why, like, a lot of, like, base set Pokemon cards are a few dollars in, like, beat up, heavily played, damaged condition, but in, like, near mint, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, like, high grades, they're worth, like, exponentially more, right? The reason being, how many kids played with sleeves back then? How many kids didn't play on, you know, asphalt and sidewalks like I did? Like we all did, right? The same things with 2012 Pokemon. How many people didn't breed those Pokemon? How many people actually have played the game long enough to keep them? How many of those players didn't get banned? How, like, there's 2012 Pokemon are often lost to time. How many people even played PokeMMO back in 2012? I've been playing forever, and I didn't even play in 2012. I only started playing in 2013. You only had like 6 months. 2012, the game released in like the summer of 2012, so you only had like 6 months to find out about the game, like download, log in, catch Pokemon, which like today, we keep track of like every new game being released. Back in 2012, bro, we didn't keep track of every single new game being released, as well as like random niche turbo online games like a Pokemon MMO unofficially made by, you know, a group of fans. Like this was all, they're rare, man. They're rare. There's not many that exist. And they're collectibles, like for people like myself. You know, do they have any pragmatic value? Not really. But same with Pokemon cards. A lot of Pokemon cards, base set. People aren't playing competitive Pokemon with base set Pokemon cards on average. Maybe there's some niche formats that I don't know about, but in general, people are just trying to buy to collect. It's fun. Humans like collecting things. We like showing things off, and I think it's, you know, it's a normal part of being human. Wait, someone in chat said, wait a minute, so my 2012 shiny Voltorb has more value just because of the catch here? If you actually have a 2012 Voltorb and you don't even know the value, I am so happy to be the person to deliver you this news. Bro, you're sitting on a gold mine. Any 2012 shiny is worth exponential amounts of Pokeyen. The cheapest 2012 shiny on the market is 40 mil. 40 mil. 2012 shinies are some of the most like rare, coveted. There's only so many that exist. It's really, 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 really crazy. Okay, I will say, actually, I love talking about this. This is gonna say first, yep. Okay, let me clear up a common misconception about 2012 first days. I've made a lot of videos talking about this, but it's really easy to not understand this or miss this or whatever. Having a first day caught Pokemon, I could be disagreed with, but in my personal opinion, does not make it any more valuable. The reason being, it's not actually the first day. right? It's actually rarer to have a not first day caught shiny, and I'll explain why. Here, this Arbok's actually the perfect example because it was caught not first day. So this date right here, 11-12, so this is November 12th, 2012, 9:40:37 p.m. That's also an important time. This is when catch times were added to PokeMMO. Okay? And PokeMMO existed from like June of 2012 to obviously the end of the year. So like 6 months in 2012. So for 5 months out of those 6, any Pokemon caught all just have this date. So most 2012s have this date. It's actually rarer to have one here caught in the month where you didn't have this. So this isn't actually the first day of the game existing, or the first day. It's just the first day that the catch date was added to the game. So if we go check, we could go through. I bet you a bunch. Yup, the first click, 11-12, 9:40:37, 11-28, 11. Let's do 12. Okay, there's a December one. It is more common, 11-12, same exact time, 9:40:37. It is easier and more common to find Pokemon. Yup, same thing with this first day catch time than something not. So in my opinion, I don't like labeling 2012s as first day. I don't think it's actually rare or valuable. If anything, it's the opposite. So don't get faked out by that when you're collecting or buying 2012s. Like most Pokemon for 2012 have that date. It's more common. It's less rare than ones that don't. Now, the ones that don't, I wouldn't call those more valuable or like whatever either, but maybe in 10 years from now we'll see that. I don't know. That's too niche in my bit, too specific. This is a really interesting question of balance. Someone said, "Hey, Patrouski, what's your opinion on making heal balls? What's your opinion on heal balls and the fact that they, heal a Pokemon, they restore their HP and heal status ailments upon catch? What's alternative change to balancing heal balls? What if they were more effective on Pokemon with status effects?" I like the idea, like the catch rate's higher. The problem is heal balls are a really difficult ball to balance, right? Really, really difficult. Obviously, restoring a Pokemon's HP and status ailments isn't that good in general Pokemon play. However, I actually think it's okay. I'll touch back on where it's good in a second. In my opinion, the problem with heal balls being more effective on a Pokemon with status effect is that it's non-engaging gameplay. If you're catching a Pokemon and you're trying to get the catch rate to maximum, you're probably sporing it. You're probably giving a status effect to it. So I don't think it's engaging gameplay to just give a benefit to something that you're already going to do efficiently. Even though it fits the lore and the theme of the name of the heal ball, which I think is, I get the thought process. I don't think it would make engaging gameplay. Love or hate the nerf of netball, right? It's been effective at least in changing up the Pokeball metagame, right? Six months ago, okay, let's just go all the way before the netball buff, which most new players don't even realize netball was buffed, and that's why it needed to get nerfed. A lot of players just thought it was always like that. That's not true. Netball got buffed about a year and a bit ago. So a year in 2 years ago. 2 years ago, if you asked me, "Hey, Patrouski, what's the best Pokeball in PokeMMO?" I would say, "Oh, you know what? There isn't really a best ball. You want to use Dust Balls in caves. You want to use Ultra Balls if you're completing Pokedex. You want to use Net Balls on water types, Dive Balls on certain Phenos. Like, there isn't really a best ball. You actually need a different group of balls for different catches, and that's really, really interesting and engaging gameplay. When you go to click, like, to catch a Pokemon, what ball should I click?" It's a thought process then, right? 6 months ago, if you asked me, "Hey, what's the best ball in Pokemon?" Netball. Netball. Is it water type? Netball. If it's not a water type, soak in netball. Oh, Dittos? You transform them into a water type? Netball. Netballs were so good that they warped the entire Pokeball metagame around always using netballs. That's not fun. It's not engaging gameplay. It's not interesting. It's not good for anybody. It's not a good thing. Netballs were so broken for about 8 months or so. Now that netballs have been nerfed, we are back in that thing of what should I use? Every time I encounter a Pokemon, I'm like, oh, is this a quick ball encounter? Is this dust ball? Is it nighttime in game? Is this ultra ball? Is this, you know, I have to think about it. It's really, it's much more engaging gameplay. Is it harder to catch Pokemon now? Have these swarms proved to be pretty difficult catches on a lot of these high catch rate mons like Apom and stuff during the event? Yes, it's been harder to catch Pokemon, but it's also better gameplay and more interesting in my opinion than just like always encounter Pokemon, Spore, False Swipe, Soak, Netball, catch. Like, it's just so boring. And it's not fun or engaging or interesting. Back to Heal Ball, okay? This is a long... I could do a whole video about, like... There's the Pokeball balancing and economy in PokeMMO is really interesting. I could do a whole video rambling about it. Heal Balls actually have a niche, in my opinion, during PokeMMO Nuzlocks, which aren't done that much, right? But I think it's kind of a good niche. Like, if you're doing a Nuzlocke and you are like, you can plan out ahead of time, I'm going to be passing this route during this dungeon or whatever that I have to be fighting a bunch of trainers for. Let me catch a Pokemon on this route with a Heal Ball so I can have that mon at high HP and stuff and have it ready to fight with. I think that's like actually really cool. I think it's a pretty interesting niche that... Now, can we buff Heal Balls? I think we probably could maybe a little bit. I don't know. I don't know what that buff would entail, but there's an option there. They're also very cheap at 400 yen, you know? I feel like Heal Balls are more for looking pretty. There's a fair argument for that some Pokeballs are just for looking pretty. Look at Premier Balls, right? They're just for aesthetics. Cherish Balls. You don't want that many Pokeballs to be doing that. You do want, like, Pokeballs to actually be viable in different strategies and stuff, which is really cool. But, yeah, that's a great question. Hopefully that answers it. I think there's always discussion should always be had about, like, how to rebalance Pokeballs and what to... Because I think it's one of the coolest parts of PokeMMO is how we custom balance Pokeballs and how it shakes up that metagame and how it makes the gameplay more interesting and thought-provoking on what Pokeballs you use on a catch. Great question. I definitely think there's arguments in both directions. Like, no one's right or wrong, in my opinion, Tallyhack. I think you could argue to buff Heal Balls. You could argue to keep them the same. But Tallyhack says, honestly, the Nuzlocke angle for Heal Balls is enough to leave it as is, in my opinion. In Minecraft, there are tons of mechanics that are essentially useless except for challenge runs, but it makes the gameplay options much more diverse and better. I totally agree with you. I totally, like, agree and get what you're saying. The same thing is true with, like, niche... Things being good at specific things is better for long-term power creep and balancing, in my opinion, in video games versus raw general power creep. The easiest example of this is in old school RuneScape, okay? In old school RuneScape, they started releasing things called, like, I haven't played OSRS in like 4 years, so I don't know the new stuff, but back in my day, boomer, they released things like the DHCB, the Dragon Hunter crossbow, right? So that was a crossbow that was best in slot only at dragons, right? There's a lot of dragons in RuneScape, but that was like, it was a good item because that was really good against dragons. So you'd have to go get this item to do like the best DPS at dragons, whereas they could have just put out like a diamond crossbow or some dumb, you know in RuneScape how there's like adamant or mithril, adamant, rune, like blah blah. If you just add a new tier, if you just keep raw general power creep, then all of a sudden you're using the fucking obsidian diamond encrusted crossbow to kill everything, right? But if you need a Din's Bulwark to go hunt Black Chins, if you need a Dragon Hunter crossbow to go do Vorkath, if you need a Twisted Bow to do best in slot at raids, like, it creates a much more interesting gameplay loop where you aren't just using the same thing at everything, right? You want to make it so that you have an item used here, an item used there. You want to make players think about what they're doing, think about their decisions. You don't just want something to be the raw best damage at everything. It's just not very fun, interesting, or engaging gameplay. It becomes very repetitive. It becomes very monotonous. It becomes non-engaging. Yeah, that's a great gameplay design thing to talk about. Dude, look how sick this looks. Shalpha Ambipom. Already a sick shiny. I'm 99% sure this is Shalpha because it's big. It's big. This is so sick, young Fukeni. That's a fun sprite. This is like a dream Shalpha, bro. This is so good. This is so good. Honestly, Abundant Shrine is probably one of my favorite event pieces of content that has gotten added. As someone who's new into events, I kind of wish there was more content based on it. I honestly don't know why there isn't a permanent dungeon year-round similar to Abundant Shrine. I don't know if it would be hard to difficult the rewards, but like, they have the content made. They have it created. I feel like if Abundant Shrine or something like it, some sort of dungeon thing where you don't need resources, you can go in and farm stuff, whether it's like vitamins or whatever items, repels, or rare candies, whatever. Like, I think that'd be so sick. I feel like It's just a fun, mechanical, engaging PvM piece of content. Even if the rewards weren't that great, I feel like people would still do it for fun. It's a very, very cool piece of content. Okay, I have a massive amount of Swarm Pokemon to turn in, which I'm kind of excited to do. So I have 30, all of these 30 plus. I have 39 Swarmons to turn in, fellas. It's legit gonna take me a sec. Let's get to it. For someone told me in chat earlier, I didn't know this personally, but Slateport is apparently the fastest place to go to turn in Swarm Pokemon. What you want to do is you want to drag your one non-Swarm Pokemon to the very bottom. And you want to just spam click like this and just consume all your mons. Slateport is apparently the quickest to the old lady from the PC, which makes a lot of sense. And honestly, using teleport either via an ocarina or the one non-Swarm mon while doing this is much faster. If you fly back or run back to the PC, it's going to take you a sec to get closer to the PC. But if I teleport like this, boom, bam, it's going to put me right here and I can walk over and it's a little bit faster. So very, very like min-maxy nerd emoji. But if you want to be, if you have a lot of swarms to turn in, you might want to think about how you do it at a certain pace. You can do this. You don't have to employ these strategies. This is kind of above and beyond. Dude, I'm going to be so honest. This is actually so insane. Come on. Like, at a certain point, it can't keep going up, right? Because eventually you're gonna reach a point. Now, it is an ultra rare, we don't know the percentage odds, but very, very rare from Lucky Red Envelopes. At a certain point, it's gotta become profitable to just open these to go for the coiled hat. I literally don't think it is. It's still not profitable, I'm pretty sure right now. I'm pretty sure right now it's still like an insane loss, which is crazy for how, you know, cheap these are versus the coiled being 35 mil. That's insane. How many Lucky Reds is that? 35 mil divided by 50k, right? It's actually, that's 700. I know that, okay, I can actually speak on this. I could be misquoting, but I'm pretty sure this is right. I know that we have, I think at least two. I think there's multiple people in Team Mister who are over 2,000 Lucky Red Envelopes dry for it. I think that's from what I heard from a birdie is what I'll say. That's fucking insane. That's, yeah, 2,000. That can't be based on, I don't know what the drop rate is. I don't know. If we're assuming the market's working correctly, if the cost of it is if it's 700 Lucky Red Envelopes equals 35 mil or so, I wonder if it's 1 out of 1k. That might actually be about, because what would the percentage on that be? Is that 0.01? That might be what it is. It might be 1 out of 1k drop rate. But we don't know, you know? That's so insane. Alrighty, fellas. It is time for chat's favorite thing, okay? We are going to be Gamba-ing some things only because we have streamer privilege. We do. We got gifted a few things specifically to Gamba and open for content. So shout out to and thank you so much to Tallyhack for these. We've got 1 Dusk Ball and 5 mysterious Pokeballs. I think we're going to do these first just so I don't forget what order and what I'm opening and stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and do, I think they're 2024s. We'll do the 1 Dust Ball. Let's put it down here. You'll see the shiny sprite across screen if it's shiny. Crobat's a pretty good open. Mysterious Pokeballs. I think that these are 2024s. Yep, it's these ones. So we have 5 of these. Stantler. This is a slow opening. One sec. Let me move these up here. My favorite thing about opening Mysterious Balls is you will see the shiny sprite across screen if it comes up shiny, which is so fucking cool. Jinx. Okay, no shinies. No shinies. We can sell those for some Pokeyen. Xmas Presents 2024s. Red Envelopes 2025s. We'll save the Lucky Reds for last because that is the coolest one. 7 Xmas, 9 Red Envelopes. Let's do Xmas. We'll lead up to the cool stuff. 7 Xmas. I don't have that many 2024 Xmas. So we'll pop down to 6. Is that right? Repeat Balls, X Attacks, XP Candies, Assurance, Snow Leopard Tail. I don't know if I have that. Helping Hand, Pearls. I think that's everything there. Next up is Red Envelopes. We open 9 of these. The big thing we're looking for, boys, is somehow randomly getting the ultra rare. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a good open. It's like the best open. 6, 7, 8, what, 9. That was like the best open, unironically, was getting that that Richest Charm 75%. That might pay for all of them. That might be a small profit. Next up, the final thing, the most important thing, is the 3 lucky reds. We have a chance when opening these lucky reds to open a 35 million Pokeyen Vanity. Wish me luck. Will-O-Wisp, Dragon Dance, and that's why you don't gamble. Those 3 items are like all world. That's like minus 150k. Don't gamble. Just watch people gamble and don't do it yourself. You'll never profit in the long run. You will lose money. Don't do it. I recommend against it. Sometimes I do it for entertainment purposes. I really try to encourage people as much as possible to not gamble. And I only set aside a small amount each event to not even like, I think this is the only event I've gambled in this year. I didn't gamble in the Halloween event. I did not gamble in the Christmas event. I only have gambled in this event because the upside is so high, even though the risk is so rough or whatever. If you want to spend Pokeyen for entertainment, that's fine. Go ahead. If you want to say, you know what, I wouldn't miss this 5 mil. I'm going to spend this 5 mil to have fun for a short period of time. That's okay. If you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I'm going to spend this 5 mil in the hopes that I make 7 mil. And if I don't, I'm going to be sad. That's a recipe for disaster. Don't do it. Don't gamble. Okay. There we go though. That's it. That's the gambling done with. If you want to make money, don't gamble. Those things are polar opposites. Oh, I'm so glad you asked this question. Is there any reason to finish the Pokedex? Yes. PokeMMO, especially over the past 2 years, added a ton of benefits to completing the Pokedex. I think there's 3 major benefits to completing the Pokedex in Pokemon right now. Number 1, you unlock the Heatran raid, which is the only like big legendary permanent raid in the game right now. So that's awesome. You get an OT Heatran, a chance to catch a Heatran and do the raid. Heatran's worth around like 3 mil a piece right now, so you can make Pokeyen with it if you want. 2.4 mil, sorry, excuse me. You unlock the Heatran raid. You unlock for each Pokedex you complete in each region. A lot of people might have forgotten about this, as it was kind of a while ago, but you can head back to the hometown in each region and go collect a ability patch, depending on the starter Pokemon you picked. So right now, like ability patch fires, if they're like 190k or whatever, if you picked the fire type Pokemon in Johto, you could head back to the I don't think it's here to be fair, but you could head back to like the Oaks lab or the professor's lab equivalent in that region. I'm looking like a noob because I don't know Johto very well. Is it over here? But you would head back to like, you would go to Pallet Town for Kanto. You would head over and there's an NPC inside of a I'm a fucking noob in Johto. I'm so sorry. It's been like only 1 year. Tech W. But you would go to the lab and you could talk to an NPC and get an ability patch per. You can do that per region. So you can make like 1 million Pokeyen just from collecting all the ability patches. You get Heatran, and the best benefit is Mount Silver in Johto. In Johto, you unlock Mount Silver access if you get your complete Pokedex. Mount Silver has the best XP trading spot in the entire game. It has one of the best shiny hunts in the entire game with a ×5 Larvitar horde. And then it also has some of the best money-making methods in the game with the red refight. So like with Mount Silver, also you get some of the best EV trading spots with like Poliwhirl down here. With Mount Silver unlocked, you get the best XP trading spot, some of the best EV trading spots, one of the best shiny hunts for a rare shiny, and one of the best money-making methods. So this is like extremely, extremely, extremely good. I think this might be a flip. Which is the craziest. I'm gonna risk it. I think that's a flip. Bug aid group male 6x0. That could be used to complete someone's 6x0 meme aid group. I think the same, someone said in chat. I think that's around 400k. It's worth less than a 6x31 or whatever, obviously, because people value zeros less. But I think someone would be very willing to pay 400k to finish up a meme breed. The fact that it's male is super nice. I'm going to relist this. I'm going to buy it for 200k, list it for 400k. Maybe even just use it on I have a Shuckle that needs to be fixed. We'll see, man. Honestly, it's it's a weird niche flip, bro. The multi-zero market is not something people see every day, But it is something people do. It's kind of like a trophy, a cosmetic, a vanity, a meme Pokemon to build. One of the first things I did when I learned the new breeding system in PokeMMO, the new system, was go for a 6x0 Shuckle. Was something I always wanted to do. So, underrated kind of flip, underrated kind of market. But there are very, very slow selling for sure. I feel like one of the best money-making methods right now is getting ahead of the market and breeding raid Pokemon that are good for the next raid. We already know all the raids, guys. We already know. Xanarchy just reposted the list. It's the same Pokemon as last year. So think it is Xanarchy. It's Lopunny. We can actually see. It's Lopunny, Ugly, Grumpig, Zebstrika, Stoutland. It's even the same order. Ampharos. Next up is Steelix. Then Slacking. Then Tauros. Then Braviary. Then Excadrill. Then Gyarados, right? When Gyarados comes around, electric types with Volt Switch, possibly even Zapdos, might become more expensive. When Steelix rolls around, I don't even know what they, maybe like special attackers, maybe Sun teams. I bet Sun teams are going to start popping off kind of soon with things like Steelix, things like Excadrill, maybe Rain teams. I don't know if they'll be good. Do your own research and figure out for yourself what teams are good against those. Metachams and Mankeys and Mienshaos and fighting types might pop back up against Slacking and Tauros. Yeah, understanding what's going to be good is super, super important. Physical is better for Excadrill. Is that true? Is it because of like a specific mechanic in the raid? I assumed he had better defense than special defense, but like actually not really at all. No, that's fair. Good call. So yeah, we'll see. Yeah, maybe fighting types will just be used against Excadrill as well. Yeah, but getting ahead of that market and knowing what raids are coming next, super important, super under talked about, underutilized. This is genuinely a great question. Is it best for a new player to speedrun all badges or take it slow? Kind of a cop-out answer, but it is up to you. It's up to what you want. There's not really a wrong answer. Do you hate the storylines like me and want to get them over with? Speedrun them, right? Or is a big reason you're playing PokeMMO to like play through the storylines and have a nostalgic reliving of them? Maybe take your time and just have fun and enjoy that. You know, you only really get that experience once. So keep that in mind. You only get to play through the PokeMMO storylines for the first time once. You can obviously replay them on alts, but your first time is different. It's special, you know? So I understand wanting to take your time, have fun, enjoy yourself. But if you hate storylines like me, you might want to speed run through them to get to the MMO content, the shiny hunting, the SP training, the EV training, the grinding. Really depends on your interests and your wants as a player. Okay, someone said that they saw that I got a shiny in a dream of theirs, okay? This is how desperate I am for a fucking shiny. They said, go do 7 times 3 hordes and 7 single encounters, and I will get a shiny, okay? Which will obviously 100% happen. If this person is correct, I don't know what I'd do. I VIP mod them, give them my stream key, true and real. Let's test it. This is sweet scent number 1. Alrighty, fellas, this is probably the last Pokemon I'm turning in for a swarm today. I have one more Stantler. Dude, we did a ton today in terms of swarm grinding. I didn't do any more raids. I kind of want to let those stock up. We talked about the game a ton. It was a really fun stream. I went from 5 Zodiac tablets to 3, 6, 9, 10. I doubled my Zodiac tablets today. So I'm feeling pretty happy about that. Feeling pretty good about that. I have 2 more to achieve. I have some mysterious Cherish Balls to sell. I'm going to sell those now, I think. However many of them. I think they're around 60k a piece at the moment. They're holding their price at 60k. I don't see them like dropping much below this at all. I feel like they're holding extremely strong. Extremely well. We're going to list them for 61k like this. Get a quick mill from those just for doing that today. And I very casually, and I did other things. So I streamed today for about 6 hours, and I did do swarm catching for most of that, but like pretty casually, they all sold. Let's say I made 1 mil Pokeyen in 6 hours. It's not amazing Pokeyen per hour, but that's also like I went and I could have bred for profit. I could have done a lot of the in between time. I just like sat and talked to chat and hung out. But I'm doing this math wrong. Sorry. 1 million divided by 6. So it's around 166k though per hour is like pretty solid Pokeyen. And also you're getting the tablets, which will also get you more Pokeyen once we actually have a use for them, once they're unlocked when all 12 raids are out. I also did do a little bit of flipping and a little bit of relisting mons and sell. Like you could easily make like way more than 300k per hour. Potentially, I mean, you could make like 600k per hour plus, like breeding for profit alongside catching the swarms and stuff like that per hour. That's pretty extreme, but I think the average player right now definitely could make 300k per hour playing this event and doing money making methods in between, whenever you're waiting for swarm spawns or things like that, or if you're doing abundant shrine, whatever it may be. So boom, 1 mil added to the cash stack. Went from 5 zodiac tablets up to 10, went from 5 raids to 5 raids, went from 20 mil up to 22 mil, boys. So feeling pretty good, made a lot of progress. That is going to be it for me today, boys. I had a lot of fun streaming today. I will see you guys tomorrow for more grinding, more progress, and just making that slow incremental progress throughout the event. Like the stream if you enjoyed it, dislike if not, subscribe to the channel for PokeMMO videos every single day. Follow me on Twitch for streams whenever possible throughout the event, as well as usually Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down below, and if you want to go above and beyond and support the content, YouTube memberships, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, and PayPal/Venmo donations really do keep the lights on and allow me to do this. I could not be here without you guys. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, have fun, and play some PokeMMO. The event's been a banger and a good round out to event season. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Isurino. Hey, thank you so very much for watching until the very end of the video. That means the world to me. And if your name is listed here, you're the reason I'm able to do this in the first place by going above and beyond and supporting the channel via YouTube memberships and Twitch Primes. Thank you so much. Have a great day.